Johnny K. This is part 15. Install that oil pan and accessories on the big block Chevy. Alright, now we're going to install the oil pan. So first we're going to take some brake cleaner, some rags. We're just going to wipe off the surfaces where the gasket sits. Then we'll dry fit all the gaskets to make sure we have the right orientation. Okay, we cleaned off the mating surface where the gaskets sit on the block. We dry fitted everything so we have the correct orientation. Now you can grab your nice bag of bolts because you tagged and bagged your oil pan bolts, right? I'm going to go ahead and take my used bolts and clean them up on the bench grinder with a wire wheel. You start with the timing chain, cover gasket, the rubber gasket front, and you go to the rear. We'll apply silicone to that, place the rubber down, and then in the corner here where the other gasket lays on top of that, we'll apply some silicone to that too. The oil pan is on, those bolts are torqued. Got our starter bolted on, and you torque the bolts, the two bolts, to 35 foot-pounds of torque. They make a bracket that bolts to the block, to the starter, a small bracket, and it helps support the weight of the starter. I haven't used one. This is the same starter in the last 20 years, but I could see the benefit of one of those arms, those braces, to help support the weight. There's an option for you. Okay, with this new aluminum timing cover, it was just a little wider in some areas, so I laid out and I took my 4.5 inch grinder, the sanding disc, and I just sanded the areas where I needed to. Now I'm just checking to make sure all my bolts fit, which they all do. So I'm going to take this off, and I put RTV on the back side. I stick it on, and then on the front side I use the water pump gaskets. On the water pump bolts, I like to use this ARP thread sealant. Since it's going into a water cavity, this is the stuff I like to use. Alright, we got our water pump on. Now we're just going to torque the bolts, these 4 bolts, water pump bolts, at 30 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, I'm going to install my lifters because I don't want anything to fall into the motor that could get trapped in the oil pan through the lifter bores. So I'm going to oil my lifters up. I'm going to put some assembly lube on the bottom of the lifter and drop those babies in there. My lifter's in, and I'm going to put my oil filter on. I like Wix oil filters. I like the using the Joe Gibbs break-in motor oil. For the new guys, you got your oil filter, dump some oil into your oil filter, and then dip your finger into the oil, and you just want to put a thin coat around this rubber seal. Just a real thin coat of the clean oil. Alright? And the oil that I use for starting my motors is this, the Joe Gibbs Driven BR for break-in. It's this performance break-in oil. I'll run this in my car for about 500 miles. And then I'll switch over to a 1520 weight or 2050 weight motor oil. I got 5 quarts of oil in my motor. I got 2 quarts left over. I'm going to keep those and save those until the motor's completely in the car. 1 quart pretty much filled up the oil filter, and the other 4 quarts I dumped into the lifter gallery. I lifted up the lifters, poured some in there in the lifter bores. Now I'm just going to rotate my motor a couple times and then just check my harmonic balancer to the pointer and put that on 0. That way we know we're good when we go to drop our distributor in.